Today's video is extremely important. We are all aware of what is happening in Israel. In case you don't know or haven't seen it, the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, gave a very significant speech addressing several important points. He clearly emphasized that they are determined to put an end to the Hamas group and unite the people. In his speech, he revealed the possibility of a land invasion, although without revealing when this would happen. It was, therefore, a speech with great impact that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who understands the meaning of these words. However, for me, one of the crucial points of this speech, which is the focus of this video, was the promise that Isaiah's prophecy will be fulfilled. This leads us to reflect on the moment we live in and understand its depth. We are witnessing the fulfillment of this prophecy before our eyes. Watch until the end of this video, and you will have a complete understanding. Furthermore, I urge you to enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our next content. Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech to the nation in which he stated, "We represent the light, while they represent the darkness. The light will triumph over the darkness and fulfill Isaiah's prophecy." When a political leader expresses such a message, there is no room for doubt. It is worth mentioning that Rabbi Kanevsky, in the 90s, before Netanyahu became prime minister, within the Jewish community, predicted that he would be the last prime minister of Israel. What follows after this is cause for reflection, and many interpret it as a sign of the end of times. When we state that we will fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah, we are referencing a prophecy that inspires and moves everyone. The summary of this prophecy, which many believe is found in chapter 60 of the book of Isaiah, describes a vision of hope and restoration to the glory of Jerusalem. Prophecy is part of a section often called Second Isaiah or Deutero-Isaiah, which focuses on the promise of Israel's restoration. Then he mentions some crucial points. See what Netanyahu is saying. "Oh, shine of Jerusalem." The chapter begins with a call for Jerusalem to arise and shine, for its light has come, and the glory of the Lord shines upon it, and the glory of the Lord shines upon it, in contrast to the darkness that covers the land. Do you understand what he is saying? We are the people of light. While they are in darkness, Jerusalem is presented as a beacon of hope and glory. Another point addressed in the prophet Isaiah in this chapter is the gathering of Israel. Isaiah talks about the sons and daughters of Israel returning from distant lands, promising that those who were scattered will be gathered together. This has already happened to a certain extent, but it continues to happen today. The third point I highlighted is the nation and kings in the service of Jerusalem. The text prophesies that nations and kings will serve Israel. He mentions the dromedary of Midian, Sheba, bringing gold, incense, and proclaiming praises to the Lord. This symbolizes the wealth and recognition of the nations before Jerusalem, especially before the Lord, who commanded Jerusalem. Point 4 that I separated. Isaiah describes the gates of Jerusalem always open to receive the wealth of the nations. The chapter tells of foreigners rebuilding the city walls and kings serving God's will. The fourth point of this prophecy describes Isaiah's vision of the secrets of Jerusalem that remain constantly open to receive the wealth of the nations. The chapter mentions foreigners engaged in maintaining the city walls and kings submissive to the will of God. At point C of the prophecy, we find the promise of peace and righteousness. The text paints a scenario of Jerusalem where violence no longer has a place and destruction is just a distant memory. Peace is a central theme, with Israel's enemies transformed into worshipers who authorize that only the Lord is God, revealing the divine glory that hovers over Jerusalem. In the sixth point, the passage concludes by highlighting God's eternal presence with Jerusalem. He will always be the perpetual light of the city, making dependence on the sun and moon unnecessary. Why? Because the Lord himself will dwell in it. So you see, Netanyahu is a politician. He is saying, We are going to fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah. That is, we are the final generation of that final prophecy. Why? This prophecy ends with the glory of God over Jerusalem, that the Lord Himself will dwell in it, and we will no longer need the sun or the moon, because His glory will illuminate everything. But to get to this point, there is a painful process. This prophetic process, a process of wars, confrontations, a lot of pain. Unfortunately, until the final and true peace, before that false peace that will happen before will happen, that false peace. But the final peace, which the Lord Himself will establish when it arrives, then there is a long way to go. Unfortunately, it's a lot of pain. And it will get a little worse in the coming days when the land invasion begins, because there will be resistance from the terrorist group. There will be resistance from the terrorist group. There will be interference from other nations like Iran itself. China is around. Russia is around. Syria. Terrorist groups in Syria, Hezbollah, etc. are all there, all waiting for this moment to take even more drastic actions. So, who will have the courage to do what? That is the big question. But this is the moment we are living in. See the time we are living in. May he who still sleeps wake up. The world is constantly evolving, and it often seems that spirituality and morals are being lost amid the whirlwind of everyday occupations and distractions. Scripture reminds us in Ephesians 5:14 that awake, O thou that sleepest, arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. It is time to awaken spiritually and seek the light of Christ to illuminate our paths. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. This helps us continue producing quality content that you love. Click the subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for your support.